Hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we're going to be looking at your energy for today. So let's get into it. We're just coming off of a full moon, a new moon, a new moon in Libra. It was a new moon solar eclipse, which brings about a lot of external change, which is nice. There's been a lot of tension. We've been going through some ups and some downs, and we're trying to find a little bit of grounding, a little bit of stability in our daily life, especially with the changes that are happening. If you are being open and aware and committed to kind of learning and growing and choosing better things for yourself, then you will be seeing some momentum, some push forward. If it's a little bit harder right now, just pay attention, because there is a lot that needs to be addressed, and some of it is difficult. It's stuff that we have to do for ourselves, self-reflection. As much as we might want to point the finger, blame other people, situations for the hardship, yes, that's a part of it. Definitely validate yourself always, but also take that extra step and really look at maybe how you're showing up, decisions that you're making that aren't really in alignment or for the highest and best for what you truly want, what's making you feel happy and fulfilled. It is kind of like weeding out the BS right now, and some of those challenges are because we're dealing with people, with situations that are important to us or that have been in our life for quite some time, and it's hard to let go. It's hard to say when enough is enough, especially if it's kind of bad but kind of not. We've all been there where it might not be the highest and best for us, but we stay in something because it's comfortable, because it's familiar. And Pluto moving into Aquarius is really asking us to do that self-evaluation so we can step into more of our wish fulfillment and into our hopes, our utopia of how our life is going to look. So we'll start with this energy cleansing. As always, little blessing for you, for me, for the reading. Cleanse out any negative, unwanted, lower vibrational energy. Anything that's blocking what you need to see, sense, and feel. It's also a really good time to set your own intention for the reading. So if there's messages that you would like to receive from Spirit, questions you would like answered, definitely give those over now and be open to receive. I also do personal readings, tarot, astrology, mediumship, as well as energy healing and holistic wellness, some mind, body, soul action. So if you would like support in anything that you're trying to rebalance, reharmonize within that mind, body, soul, definitely hit me up. I would be honored to help, love, and support you through that process. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, overwhelm, impatience. Release it from our being. Help us to see, sense, understand the messages clearly, and to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. So we are still experiencing some of the tension, but it is waning away from the new moon. There was a lot of tension popping off. Libra looks specifically at our relationships, our partnerships, and how those are faring for us. Are they working for you or are they working against you? And that goes back to part of that self-evaluation that I was talking about. We have to know when to say enough is enough, or when there needs to be adjustments made so there's more reciprocity, so there's more, friendship. I love that, working together. It is, maybe as cheesy as this might sound, it is all about teamwork. And part of manifesting the life you want, the success you want, is finding collaborations, finding partnerships, relationships with people that are actually willing to be on your team, on your side. It doesn't mean that you're not going to come into obstacles, challenges along the way, but it makes those things way easier when you have people on your team or who are helping you work through creative solutions around how to move through the difficulty. We got this card, same position, a couple readings ago this week, veiled energy. We've been seeing this a lot where people, situations, dynamics are trying to hide the truth, trying to put on a certain front in order to push their agenda across. This could even just be things that you might be keeping from yourself as well. Kind of how I was talking about, like, we do have to do that introspection to see where we're playing into a dynamic or a situation. And I feel like some of this quote unquote veil is being lifted because as the solar eclipse brings in external change, so changes in your environment, changes you might not have even been expecting, it helps to remove this veil. It helps to reveal the truth. And you do have this heart of gratitude today, which I really love. It feels really powerful. It also feels peaceful at the same time. Like, yes, there is some residual hurt and pain that you might be experiencing, but you're continuing to push forward. You're continuing to hold strong to your vision is what I'm seeing, especially with this talisman. It's like, it's the key, right? That you have to, we've been seeing this a lot in the astrology. The air and water element are kind of competing against each other. So we're in this process of figuring out what side are you going to give more power. The emotion, the overwhelm, the feeling of being down and out, the woe is me, shoulda, woulda, coulda, I wish they were like this, I wish they would have done this, etc. Yeah, or are we going to shift that perspective into something that is a little bit more heart honoring for yourself? And it is kind of hard to shift that perspective right now. I'm not saying that you should be doing it this way because there's just a lot going on that I keep seeing it as like working out the knots, right? Like untangling a lot of messiness that has been going on for quite some time. Pluto rules like decade-long cycles, and we've been in Pluto in Capricorn for about 15 years now. So it could even be as long as a 15-year cycle for you. And we all know that if things go left unchecked for long periods of time, then, well, they get really messy. They get really tangled. And I love this because as much as you are still dealing with some of the residual, some of the challenges, at the same time, you have a lot of like, quote unquote, spiritual energy at your side today, meaning that regardless of what you believe in, what you ascribe to, you're holding fast to those principles and in a very strong and self-assured way, right? Keeping your vision in focus, not letting the hubbub, the BS throw you off course. We have a Venus is harmoniously aspected to Saturn. So I feel like you're getting a little bit more comfortable with what the changes are and also what the challenges are, right? You've been through it enough, or you're far enough along where it makes sense and you know the adjustments that you have to make, i.e. why we're being called to shift, right? Why we're being called to shift that perspective. Making sure, because I'm hearing it's like you've done a lot of work, right? You've done a lot of work to overcome. And even if you're not seeing the momentum in the way that you hoped or you had wanted, it's still happening underneath the surface. Mars is going to go into retrograde in December. And we've been having a lot of resistance towards Mars, where Mars is that action potential. It's what helps us have that energy, that fuel to push ideas and manifestations forward. It's been a little blocked right now. But at the same time, it's also forcing us to find creative ways, creative solutions to deal with the hardship. And there is a lot of sadness, right? There is a lot of sadness around the secrecy, around the things that are coming out, the knowledge that you're receiving about people, about situations, wishing that it wasn't that way. That shoulda, woulda, coulda energy is what I'm hearing. But I'm seeing this as like being gentle with yourself. If people aren't going to work with you, then what can you do? You know, if they're trying to force their hand to control, to put you in a box, or force their own agenda on you, well, then you do have to take a second look at it. And there is a lot of, you know, as much as it's painful, being grateful for the past, grateful for the learning experiences, as bittersweet as they may be. It's hard right now because we are still kind of in this waiting game energy, where with that Mars that I was talking about, because we're not seeing a lot of momentum forward or changes happen, it's making us question whether or not they're actually going to, whether or not you're actually moving in the right direction. And you are. This is saying that you are. It's also confirming, like I'll say a bajillion times through this reading, making sure that you're not staying like mentally. It's mental, emotional versus the physical, because physically in real time, you're working the shit out, right? But mental, emotional is hooking you in a little bit more. Yeah. And that's actually what's keeping you put down, so to speak. It's making the practical decision to continue to engage your energy elsewhere, right? Like, it's not bad to think through things. It's not bad to validate yourself, grieve where you need to. All that is necessary. It actually pushes it out of our body so it doesn't stay trapped and we don't get sick. Mental, emotional, physical sickness is what I'm talking about, disease. But at the same time, we don't want to linger too long in that energy or become so fixated, so obsessed that it's bringing us down or bringing us back into those dynamics that you're so intentionally working out of. And it is requiring, we've been seeing this a lot of this week, it is requiring independence from you. It is requiring you to be more self-sufficient and not be afraid of that, because you're setting this really beautiful, powerful foundation for what you are bringing in. And moving through in a process of having gratitude, cleansing your mind, body, soul, however you do that, whether that is through lighting a candle, doing a smudge. It can even be taking, you know, a spiritual bath, putting a bunch of herbs, essential oils, a spiritual shower, something like that, that really just kind of cleanses and releases your energy from the past, so you're not going back to the Hermit. We've also been seeing this a lot for you lately, being in your own world. And I don't think that's necessarily bad. I think you do need some rebalancing so that you can realign with where you want to see success in your own life. Jupiter's also about to go into retrograde in next week, actually. So, and it's in Gemini, which talks a lot about duality that we face in life. And so we are going to be working with how to better approach our abundance, what we want, our success, our goals, while still working with the duality, right? Working with the people, the situations. Yeah, Two of Wands is such a beautiful energy for that. Working with people, situations that make it difficult, that don't want you to move forward, that don't want you to overcome. Let's see where you're seeing this resistance today. Yeah, so that mental, emotional that I was talking about, feeling overwhelmed, feeling the feels around the changes. And I think maybe because like you're having some time by yourself, so maybe you're seeing that you kind of get sucked back into what I was talking about. It's making you doubt yourself is what I'm seeing. You have, like, you've made peace with the past, you've made peace with what you're dealing with, but at the same time you want to move forward. There is this intentional desire. There's also a lot of creative potential around you to be successful, but I feel like the emotions are weighing you down a little bit, and it's kind of hard to overcome some of those hurdles. Yes, be gentle with yourself, but this is also finding tools, finding ways to kind of not get too sucked in, to the drama. You're juggling a lot. And when we have a lot on our plate, it's hard to take time for ourselves. It's hard to take time to process and heal through things. We're just trying to get things done, etc. And like I said, you have a lot of energy around you where you do feel at peace. So I'm hearing take it to the next level. Yeah, actually bring closure to this. You don't need to sit in this energy any longer. And I'm also hearing this is about reorganizing, rebalancing your life. Making decisions that actually make sense for you instead of things that keep you in this craziness. Two of Pentacles energy is just like juggling, right? Having a lot going on. And modern world, I think that's just normal for all of us, right? So we have to actually set aside time for self-love, for self-care. And if we don't, then it makes it harder to shift our perspective. It makes it easier to stay in the emotionality of when someone or something did us wrong. And I feel like you're still conflicted about some of that stuff, right? Like you're still conflicted about things that people have done. And I'm even hearing like conflicted about your role in it, or like you're trying to make sense of it all, and I still feel like you're taking some unnecessary responsibility or blame in the whole situation. And that's kind of what's keeping you down. It's not yours to take on. And part of this is having a little bit more of that come to Jesus moment conversation with yourself about what is actually real and what is not, remembering that people, situations have been trying to make you think one way when in fact it really is not that. And part of your empowerment is being able to rise above and overcome those self-deprecating, self-defeating thoughts. Yes, sassafras, I love that. Self-love, self-care. It's also a 9, so in numerology, that means that this cycle is almost over. We're seeing a lot of this stuff come to head. It's hard not to think that it's not because we're not seeing a lot of change in terms of new blessings, new abundance come in. It's coming in small packages right now is what I'm hearing. And the raccoon is telling you to keep pushing forward. Keep being curious about what's on the other side of all the hubbub, Don't stay stuck in the energy. Change is here. Change is here. It's coming. You're almost at the end of this cycle. It's closing itself out. Oftentimes things take more time on the earth plane, the physical plane, because it's the grossest manifestation of consciousness, right? It's like the slowest, it's earth energy. And the Bayou is talking about really keeping your emotions in check, especially in situations, dynamics where you do have to be a little bit more patient, where things haven't completely closed themselves out and you're still waiting on that closure. Whether it's within yourself, whether it's with another person, or just leaving a situation behind, wrapping up loose ends is what I'm hearing. So there's that fine balance between unraveling what we don't need and then tying up loose ends with what we're walking away from at the same time. So it's a little bit of a dance today, but like I said, I love that your energy is more peaceful. It's more accepting of what's going on. You are pushing towards your power. There is a lot of creative potential there if you want to take that, if you want to seize that and start really investing in yourself. I think that's very important. I think it's going to kind of be a positive distraction, something that's going to remove you from all the emotions, all the pain that have been lingering around with this moon energy. So I hope this reading helped. Thank you so much for your time and energy always, especially if you've made it this far in the video. Definitely drop comments below if it resonated. I love to hear or just connect, share a little love TLC with you. I appreciate all the love you bring to the channel. Know it blesses my heart. I'm sending all that love and blessings back your way.